All right, what's going on, everybody? Here to give my UFC 260 betting recap, post-fight reactions, an overview of the channel. So, this is my first live stream, so just expect anything that can go wrong to go wrong. So, okay. So these are my bets for the card. Took a slight loss, but pretty neutral overall. Cash Jamie Malecki here at plus 125 for 1.25 units there. Really happy with that read. Jamie clearly made serious improvements to his game. Worthy is one of the chinniest fighters there. He's definitely going to be a fade for the future. Just can't trust that. He's been finished in all of his fights now. But yeah, I knew Malecki was going to come out there and make improvements. Didn't quite expect him to get a knockout in under a minute, but you know, that was nice. But I did also bet that fight goes to decision at plus 150. So did lose out a unit there. So slight profit on that fight. I'm a little bit disappointed in that bet. I mean, I had it at 50-50. You know, I capped Kama to finish the fight at around 30%, and Malecki to finish the fight at around 20%. So to me, it was 50-50, and plus 150 was value. But in hindsight, that wasn't a sharp look. I should have just kept it with Malarkey because Worthy, you know, he's not reliable. He doesn't have a reliable chin, and Malarkey does have some power. I mean, he's got a lot of knockouts. So, and you know, he looked sharp. That was a beautiful left hook. You know, he faked the right, went with the left. Kama did the stanky leg. So brilliant finish from Malarkey. So I was happy with my read on the fight. You know, I didn't think Jamie was going to scorch him, but I knew Jamie was going to make some serious improvements, and he looked good. Even before that knockout, he was looking much sharper. I think he caught Kama with a couple nice jabs, a couple 1-2s. So definitely happy with my read on that fight. Let's go to the Burial fight. Now this one I'm really proud of this one. I had Burial wins in round 3 at plus 1200, and I had Burial wins by decision to back that up at plus 195. Obviously cashed that. I mean, I don't think I could have read that fight any better. I mean, I expected Abu to come out, win the first round, and then I expected him to fade, and he did. You know, Burial started taking over into the second round, and just obliterate him into the third round. Don't know how Abu stayed in there for that long. That ref gave him every chance in the world, but you know, I was really psyched when he did get the finish with 4 seconds left. I had the decision covered. I'm pretty sure he had the second round on all scorecards, so it wouldn't have been a draw. He would have got the decision. But really happy with my read on that fight. I think I read that fight perfectly, so really happy with that one. But the reason it was a slight loss was the Bukauskas Mikel fight. You know, Mikel by decision. The one thing that I did not expect from the fight at all. You know, I'm definitely not upset at all with the Modestas play. I mean, a split decision in a fight that I think the majority of people thought he won. Being on him at plus 140, I think that definitely is the value side. You always want to be on the plus money when it comes to a split decision. So definitely think I was on the value side there. Don't hate that play at all. But you know, the 2.25 units at minus 177 for the fight doesn't go. I mean, I don't hate that. I'll talk about my betting structure later on, but I mean, I think this line sure was a little chalky, but you know, I think that would definitely hit over 70% of the time, so I'm not upset about that at all. You know, light heavyweight, smaller cage, both throw. You know, I don't think Bukauskas is finished. What was it? Let me just check that. Because it was crazy. I think Bukauskas only went to a decision in his first fight, and everything else was finished. So yeah, he went to the decision in his first fight, and then everything else was a finish. Yeah. So his last what is that? 14 fights or 13 fights, not counting this one. Finished inside the distance. You know, he's got crazy power, and Mikel, obviously another guy that has crazy power. You know, they definitely had the chance to finish. It wasn't like I was way off. But yeah, all finishes. This one went the distance. Yeah, like what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 of his last 8 fights finished inside the distance. Um, Definitely thought that fight would finish. So um, I'm not. I think the Modestas bet was a fine bet, plus 140 on the wrong side of a split decision. I mean, if one of those hit, then I would have been sitting at plus 3 units, plus 4 units, which would have been nice. But so I don't really mind this. I mean, I would do it again. I don't mind it. Um, Modestas is a little bit patient, which I always hesitate when betting a fight doesn't go. But I don't know. I can't hate it. It's easy to look back and say should have done this, should have done that. But from the moment, from the tape, looking at the fight, breaking down the fight, I don't think that was a bad play. This play, I don't like. There's too much finish potential in that fight. It shouldn't have been capped 50-50. That's a capping error on my part. Too low of an ROI edge for me. So I actually did adjust that yesterday. Again, I'll get into it. And then this is a perfect read on the fight, in my opinion. So that was my betting breakdown. Slight loss, but pretty neutral night. First night of third party track bets. I mean, could have been a lot worse. And again, if one of those two hit, one of the Modestas Mikel spots hit, anything but Mikel wins by decision. I cash pretty decent sized night. So those are my bets. Already started tape studying for the April 10th card, and there are some spots that could potentially be interesting for me, but that's not for a while. So let me get to breaking down the card now. So first fight of the night, we had Barrio versus Azaitar. I mean, we kind of touched upon this. I thought I had Barrio to win by decision in my prediction, 29-28. He was en route to a 29-27, potentially even a 29-26. That was an absolute dominant round. And yeah, from the betting perspective, I feel like I nailed that fight. I cashed the big plus 1,200 ticket. I had the decision covered in my back pocket if it was going there. Good sizing on the bets. So nothing really much to say about this fight. Felt like I had a pretty good read on this fight. Omar Morales versus Shane Young. I did have Omar Morales winning a 30-27 decision. I mean, that's kind of how I saw the fight going. I didn't expect Shane Young to take such a grappling-heavy approach. But, Omar, he's the crisper striker. He's the bigger guy. I'm actually not really high on Omar. I think if he gets another big step up in competition, I will look to fade him if there's an angle. I'm not high on the guy. I think he's okay, but I do think that he does. There's some parts that lack in his game, which if he fights, which he will fight in the near future, I will break down when the time comes for that. But nothing really to say much about that fight. I should have capped Omar higher. I think I had him at 60, 62, 60, 62.5 to around 65 around there. I should have capped him higher, but I didn't really see myself playing him at the minus like 190 price tag. Maybe I should have probably overrated Shane Young a little bit, but that's in the past. Nothing too much about that fight. Touched upon this fight, just everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. Got the wrong side of the split decision. Somehow this fight went to decision. I know a lot of people were on the fight doesn't go. So I don't think anyone really expected that. So this was just a really unfortunate spot. I think I would take Modestas again. But Mikel's gas tank really was better. He didn't really look that tired out there, and his pressure. His pressure, that's really what won him this fight, is his pressure, because Modestas outlanded him for sure. But I said it before the decision was read as they went into commercial before that Mikel's going to win this fight because of that pressure. In a close fight like that, you want the guy, you want your bet to be on the guy that's putting on the pressure, constantly moving forward. So very unlucky fight there, and nothing really too much to say much about that. Jared Gooden versus Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Now, I couldn't find too much tape on Abubakar, so even if I did, I definitely wouldn't have played him at like, what was he, like minus 230 price tag against Jared Gooden. I really don't think Jared Gooden's a good fighter at all, so I definitely wouldn't have played Jared. So this was just a stay off fight for me. I had Abubakar winning by round 3 sub, but he leveled up, man. Like, his striking looked great, crisp jab, good pressure. He mixed in the wrestling as well, controlled Jared in that third round, and he's proven that he is a decent fighter. So moving forward, we'll look at how we want to play him, what angles we want to take, because again, I don't think Jared Gooden is that good of a fighter, but Abubakar looked great. Moving on to Alonzo Metafield and Fabio Charant. I mean, nothing too much to say there. Alonzo lost to OSP and then stole his choke. It was a good Von Flue choke. He wasted no time, wrestled him. And Fabio holding on to that guillotine. Rookie mistake. He didn't recognize it until it was too late. And Alonso just being that built, being that wide, having just broad shoulders, just digging into your neck is just not what you want. And, it's just disappointing for Sharon. I know some people were thinking about taking him at the money to fade Alonso. The under 1.5 was a really sharp look on this fight. I didn't really feel that comfortable taking it, just due to the fact that Alonso was really being patient in the OSP fight. Didn't know if he was going to come out aggressive or, play it slow, try to conserve gas, try to get another 15 minutes under his belt. I just was a lot of variables in that fight. So that's why I stayed away from that fight, but good win for Alonso. Moving on to Jamie Mullarkey versus Kamaworthy. I know we touched upon this with the betting, but Kamaworthy, never going to bet him. His chin is just not there. Mullarkey, I think he looked good. I think he's definitely an underrated fighter. I was really high on him to win this fight. Again, I didn't think he was going to come in, KO him with a beautiful left hook. That was actually a really nice left hook that he caught him with. That was a really nice left hook, and he looked good going into that. I think Jamie Mullarkey, since moving to City Kickboxing, training with Brad Riddell, training with Alexander Volkanovski, I think he has definitely leveled up. And I'll look to see who his next opponent is because I like the guy. I like the guy. So good read on this fight. Again, regret the bet on the fight goes the distance. Shouldn't have capped it at 50-50. This fight was definitely favored to finish within the distance. So still made money on the fight, but definitely changed around my betting structure around that. So again, nothing really much more to say about that. Good read on Mullarkey. Maverick and Robertson. Now, a lot of people were taking Jillian as an underdog here, and I just didn't get it. A lot of it was because of that Pearl Gonzalez fight where where Maverick got controlled by Gonzalez. But Maverick has a decent ground game, and she already had a decent ground game going into the fight, and she definitely would have worked on it facing Robertson. And on the feet, it was just a mismatch. Like, it was just an absolute mismatch on the feet. Maverick is way sharper, great jabs, great movement. And Robertson just doesn't really have much on the feet at all. I think Maverick's a really good prospect. I definitely think she does have some holes that she needs to clean up, but she's young. She's only 23 years old. She's got lots of growth still to come. So great performance from her. I just didn't get the Robertson bet. I definitely thought the line was accurate. I mean, I thought everything about the line was accurate. I thought the fight doesn't go to decision line was accurate. I thought the line was perfect. That's exactly where I capped it. So it was just a complete stay off fight for me. But I was so interested to see so many people taking the shot on Robertson. I didn't see it. I didn't see Robertson getting it done in either way. I thought Maverick would definitely get way ahead on the cards on the feet. And Maverick proved she has a ground game. She was trying to take down Robertson too. She did get controlled in that second round by Robertson, but I just thought she was in control of the fight. And she looked great out there. I definitely think she's a big prospect in this division. And she got the unanimous decision victory. That is, I think I predicted a 30-27 for Maverick. She won, I think it was 29-28. Not sure, but nothing more to say much about that. Great performance from Maverick. Moving on to Sean O'Malley and Thomas Almeida. Now, you guys will soon know I'm high on Sean O'Malley. I know a lot of people don't like him with this whole undefeated thing, but I think he's a great fighter. I think he's a very tough stylistic matchup for pretty much anyone in the division with his constant movement, his kicks, his length. He could have got Almeida over there in the first round. It was a brilliant straight left over the top. Dropped Almeida. Obviously wanted the walk off KO. I know a lot of people were probably very angry that had O'Malley in round one or had O'Malley by KO at that moment, seeing that it almost went to decision. But O'Malley was in complete control of that fight. Almeida really had no answer, couldn't really find his range. But Almeida's tough, man. Like, Almeida took some big shots. I know a lot of people, including myself, thought he was going to be chinny coming into this fight. And, his chin held up for the most part. Obviously, he got knocked out. But I thought he looked pretty decent. But he couldn't find the range, O'Malley just much sharper, better movement, and he just, that counter left, I called it second round going into the third, that he was going to catch him with a straight left or a counter left of some sort. As Almeida was rushing in, he was looking for it, and he did. So I was good with that. I did take the fight doesn't go to decision for about 1.5 units untracked before the fight started. So I did technically end the night positively, but untracked, obviously. So not going to count that. But O'Malley looked great. You know, I'd like to see him face. I'd like to see him face maybe a borderline top 15 guy, maybe another low top 15 guy, another shot, maybe like a Yadong Song or Sean O'Malley or something. Not Sean O'Malley or Kyler Phillips. One of those guys. I definitely think O'Malley is a problem. You know, and he's been working on all aspects of his game. You know, if you guys don't follow Sean, you know he's been grinding his jiu-jitsu. So he's not just a problem on the feet. He's going to be a problem everywhere. It's just the durability issues are definitely a big question mark for O'Malley. And the bookies overpricing him to like minus 300, minus 350, and he's just impossible. He's just impossible to play. But this was a good matchup for him. This was a good matchup for him to get back on track, and I'm happy he did. Moving on to Luque versus Woodley. You know, I'm impressed with Tyron. You know, I think Tyron left it all. I do think he's going to be done, but you know, I'm happy. You know, he came out there. He was way more aggressive than he's ever been. You know, he clearly knew what was at stake here, and he looked great. You know, he looked great until he got clipped with that right hand. You know, he was landing some big shots. You know, he wobbled Luque. He was implementing his wrestling pushing love against the cage. He got caught. And he got rocked bad. And Luque jumped on that Darce and finished him. You know, Luque's a tough guy. I just think it was a bad matchup for Woodley, especially when you think of a guy like Woodley and how his career was trending up into this fight. You want to give him a guy that he can knock out with that one punch. You know, and although Luque is hittable, he doesn't get finished, man. He's never been KO'd. He's been in so many wars. The guy's a beast, man, and I want to see him. Definitely want to see him get a top guy. I know he wants Nate Diaz. I don't know if Nate's going to take that fight. I think Nate would get smashed personally, but I definitely want to see him get a top guy. You know, he's been grinding in this division. You know, he has so many UFC wins. Like his record in the division is insane. Like he has, what is this, 4, 8, 10, 13. Yeah, he's 13 and 3 in the UFC. Like he has 16 UFC fights. He's never been KO'd. His only losses are to Wonderboy Thompson, Wonderboy Edwards, and Michael Graves in his debut. So he's a really tough guy, and I definitely think he can be a contender. And yeah, it's disappointing to see Woodley go out, especially seeing that he does clearly still have something left in the tank. But you know, that was a brilliant counter by Luque and a great Darce Shook to finish him off. So happy for Luque. Glad to see Woodley came to fight, but he'll likely be done. And then on to the main event, Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic, and you know that was hard. That was really hard to watch. Stipe get KO'd like that. But Francis, he leveled up, and the reason I didn't play I actually had Francis to win by TKO in round 2, so pretty good read on the fight. But I couldn't bet Francis because I definitely didn't expect him to look that good. I knew he was definitely going to make some improvements, but he looks like a different beast, man. He came out in the orthodox stance this time, and that straight left jab was incredible. And then Stipe, obviously, as we all saw, got overzealous and got clipped with another counter left. But Francis just looked amazing. You know, he looked like he was being patient. He was walking him down. His leg kicks were very strong, and Stipe really had no answer. Stipe couldn't do anything. All he could do is throw his inside leg kick. I mean, he had one nice jab in the second round, but right up to the point before he got KO'd. But you know, Francis just leveled up, and I hope we get to see a Francis versus John Jones fight. I would love to see that. But Francis, I definitely think he's going to be champion for a long time. I don't really see who's beating him. I think John Jones has the best chance. I don't see Derek Lewis beating him at all. I think Derek Lewis is going to get smoked. I mean, Volkov, but I mean, if Francis is doing that to Stipe, Francis is going to do worse to Volkov. So props to people who bet Ngannou. That was a great line. You're never going to get minus, like, what was it, 130, minus 125 on Francis. You're never going to get that again. So yeah, great read, great spot to bet Francis. I mean, Stipe at plus money wasn't bad. I mean, you can really justify a spot on Stipe, especially I don't think Stipe should have been the underdog in the fight. Like, just for how dominant the first fight was, just from a betting perspective, I just don't think he should have been the underdog. But again, Francis looked like a whole beast. So that was the card. I don't think the card was amazing by any means, but I definitely think it was a decent card. Like, this was a great fight. This fight was not as good as I was hoping for. As with this one, this fight was what I expected. This fight ended pretty quickly. This was fun to watch. Being on Malarkey, I did need Malarkey by decision to lock up a winning night, but that was just a crazy knockout by my guy Jamie. So that was a good fight. And then I thought these last three fights were amazing. And the Maverick fight, that was pretty good. It was pretty technical, good grappling in there. So overall, I think it was a pretty solid card overall. So now I'm just going to give you guys a run through of my channel, what you can expect from the channel, and I'll probably break down, give you guys an idea about how I break down fights with my betting method. But my computer is about to die, so I'm just going to run and get my charger. Give me a second. All right, sorry about that. So yeah, I guess I'll start with just an overview of the channel and what we can expect. So this next card on April 10th is going to be my last card for April. I'm not going to be betting on the 17th or the 24th, unfortunately. I'm in exam season, a lot of exams. So I'm going to take those 2 weeks off, hoping to be up for the May 1st card, if not the latest, the May 8th card. But normally I will be hoping to get, my plan is to get maybe main card prediction videos out earlier in the week, fight week. So maybe like Tuesday-ish for just the main card. And then Thursday, probably break down the whole card, go through the whole card after I've taped all the fights, get my breakdowns on bets, what we can expect from a betting point of view, where I think good spots are, things like that. So yeah, probably around like 7 p.m. range, maybe a bit earlier or later. I haven't decided yet. But this week on Thursday, I'll be giving my main card breakdown for next week's card, and then the following Thursday, I'll be giving the full card breakdown for the card. But on the channel, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of betting, of course. I'm a new capper, as you can see from this was my first third-party tracked betting night. So I'm a new capper, but I'm definitely a fan of the betting. So definitely gonna have a lot of betting out there. Gonna put in a lot of work. In that front, I watch a lot of tape, make a lot of notes on fights. Try to break them down. Another thing that I was planning on doing would be to, instead of potentially dropping like a main card breakdown prediction video, early in the week, I might just after I tape study a fight, after I tape study like a couple fights, maybe go live and just talk about those fights while they're fresh off my mind, so I can give you guys the most insight possible while it's still fresh in my mind and I'm not going based off the notes that I previously made from like days before. So that's a consideration, just still figuring it out. But yeah, definitely Thursdays on fight week, somewhere either 6, 7, or 8, be going through the whole card for about an hour, and just giving my thoughts on the card in general, what fights are going to be good, what sneaky betting spots I see are, what value spots there'll be, all stuff like that. That's the plan, at least for now. But I'm just not only going to be betting. Once I do start expanding, if the channel grows, I definitely just want to talk about MMA. Just not just betting, but just talk about the sport, talk about future fights that I think would be exciting. Talk about upcoming cards. Talk about past cards. Maybe bring on some guys. Just talk about UFC. Just talk about what we're excited for with the sport and just all the drama that goes on within the sport. Like all like the fights that would be cool to watch, or all like future super fights or anything like that. I'm just an overall MMA fan. It's not all about the betting. There's definitely gonna be a lot of betting. That's obviously what's prioritized. That's like the majority of the content that's gonna be coming out. But at the end of the day, we're all UFC fans. I think we could all benefit from just talking about UFC, not all about the money, just like seeing what's going on, things like that. And yeah, you know, so that's the plan for a channel breakdown of the things that the things that I'm expecting to come up. But yeah, so I just want to give you guys an idea about my betting, like how I decide how I break down fights, right? How I break down fights and things like that, so you guys can get an idea. Because I'm actually very specific with the way that I do things. I rely heavily on my capping ability, on capping the fight. I go by 2.5%. So I basically have, I mean, I'll probably make a video on this separately to show you guys the spreadsheet that I have. But basically, just in short, I basically cap fights at 51, 52.5, 55, 57.5, all the way up to 80. And for underdogs, I go all the way down to 49, 47.5, 45, 30. I'll never, right, 80 is the highest because it's MMA. Anything can happen. No fight should ever be capped higher than 80. And I'll never make a play on anything less than 30% unless it's like a long Hail Mary shot. For like straight picks and like and prop bets for people. Like obviously, as you saw, I took a plus 1200, like things like that I think will hit. Those are the like quarter unit plays, 0.1, 0.2 units that I'll play. But yeah, that's basically how I do it. And then basically I have a structure for if I'll bet 1 unit, 1.25 units, 1.5, different sort of unit sizings and bet sizings. If I hit a 15% ROI, then I'll multiply it by 1.5. So if I get a 30% ROI, so I'll give you guys an example. So if I cap a fit at 55%, then I need plus 110 or better. That's a 15%, about a 15% ROI. So plus 110 or better, I'll bet 1 unit. If it gets to a 30% ROI or higher, so plus 160, I'll multiply the bet sizing by 1.5. So now I'll go 1.5 units. And then again, I'll double it if it is 50% ROI. So if I get a plus 190, sorry, if I get a plus 200, I'll go 2 units. So that's really how I do it. It's probably confusing me saying it. I might make a video like showing you guys the spreadsheet about that, but I definitely rely heavily on my capping. I do think I'm a pretty good capper in the sense of where I cap fights. You know, I think I have a good eye for the game. I definitely think I do have potential in the game of betting. I think I read the game well. I just need to sharpen up some spots. You know, but you learn and you grow. You know, it's my first night betting, and I think for the most part my reads on the fight were good. I went 9-1 on my picks overall, but the only one wrong being the Modestus one, and that one was really 50-50 for me. But I definitely do feel that I can cap fights accurately, and I think I'll definitely be a long-term winner in this game. Again, just got to sharpen up some spots. Sharpen up some spots overall, but I'm just going to go through the next card just to give you guys an idea. So yeah, so looking at this card, you know, there's obviously 15 fights. It's going to be painful because probably about 10 of them are going to get canceled. But that's just what we're doing now. I did tape study this fight right here. This is a very interesting fight, very intriguing fight. Again, this fight will be broken down next Thursday because it's on the prelim. So I'll be basically the Till fight, this fight, and the Daniel Rodriguez fight. That's what I'll be breaking down on Thursday from a betting perspective, what I'm thinking. I'm already halfway through on these fights, and yeah, I got half to go, so I'll definitely be ready by Thursday. But you know, this is a decent card, and then again, I won't be here for the 17th or the 24th. I'll be watching the 24th at 10 o'clock, but I won't have any spots on the card, and then hopefully should be back for May 1st, potentially May 8th. But yeah, that's just that's all I really wanted to do today. You know, just break down the card, break down the bets. I thought it was a okay first night for me. You know, obviously would have benefited if I was in the green, tracked. But you know, if it's anything besides Mikel by decision, it would have been a +3 unit, +4 unit night. So not too upset. Hoping to bounce back for the April 10th card. I see that it's much better from a betting perspective. People are saying, and it is looking pretty decent from a betting perspective, looking like there's going to be some fun fights on the card. So definitely excited for that card. And yeah, just gave my breakdown through UFC 260, did it at the beginning. If you missed it, this will be posted after, so you can check it out. Thought it was a pretty decent card overall. Good reads on the overall fights. And again, from this channel, you know, you're going to see a lot of betting. gonna hope to make some money, be a long-term winner, and just talking about UFC, hoping having some people on, and just not only focus on the betting, just talk about it from a fan perspective, fights we're excited about, how we think fights are going. But again, that's pretty much all for now. I'm still young in the game, new to this. This is my first live stream, so definitely going to learn as I go and continue to grow. That rhyme, that was pretty cool. But anyways, I think that's it for me. Just a short one. And yeah, make sure you guys always bet on yourself. That's my number one thing. That's what I always stand by. Always bet on yourself. I honestly love being in the minority. Seeing a lot of the MMA community on one guy, and then you come in on the other guy, and you've got a strong read on it, and you've got a good, strong, solid read on it. It feels good when that cashes. Like I felt like Malarkey. I felt like a lot of people were switching to Kama towards the end of it and just staying for Malarkey and just watching him do what he does. It just feels good when you stick to your own guns, stick to your own. Just when you watch, you see what you see. Obviously it's okay to listen to other people. There's a lot of good cappers out there that provide a lot of points that you may have missed, but don't be persuaded. Don't be persuaded by your own views. If you're solid on a fight, you're confident on a fight, you've got a good read on a fight, stick with that. Always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself. Anyways, that's going to be it from me. I'll see you guys Thursday to break down the main card for UFC, Vegas 23, the main card. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you are excited for this channel to grow and you want to support, you can hit the subscribe button, like it up. Follow me on Twitter, MMA_Phoenix. I tweet pretty much every day, just my thoughts on fights when I'm tape studying, my bets, my picks, everything like that. You can catch everything on there. And yeah, like the video if you guys are excited for the channel, hoping to grow. At the end of the day, this is just fun. Not expecting too much. Just love the sport, love UFC. So why not? I love talking to other people. So engagement is always that's the plan to grow the channel. Just have some engagement. Just talk to people about fights. It's honestly one of my favorite things to do. But I'm just yapping now. So hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. My bad, guys. As I said earlier, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Forgot to end the broadcast. So that's it from me. Always bet on yourself, and I'll see you guys on Thursday.